Hi everyone, this is Erin from Sandpaper Road, and today I am sharing with you a tutorial for this 12 by 12 scrapbook layout that I made. And this was made as a part of the Craft O'Clock creative team, but there is a surprise. The little door flap opens to reveal space for more photos, and there's space for little ephemera or tags, journaling, extra photos. There's really cute embellishments, and today I'm using this Miracle Night paper collection by Craft O'Clock. So I'm giving you a closer look just quick before I show you how I made this. It's really easy to make. Let me show you a glimpse at the paper collection first before I get started. This Miracle Night, it's 12 by 12 or 30 and 5 inches, 30 and 5 centimeters by 30 and 5 centimeters if you go by centimeters. I'm also using the extras to cut set. It's a page of fussy cut elements, and I'm using the flowers 21. They all coordinate with this collection, but they're available individually or separately. And these are the decorative cards that coordinate as well. And aren't they so pretty? This might be my favorite collection so far. This also, we're going to use a lot from this coordinating set of extras. This is the junk journal extras set. I love that they do this. They're fussy cut elements, and it's like a 6 by 12 set, just little things you cut out, or you can use the pattern paper second side if you're not into the cutouts. Look at that. Can you imagine an advent calendar, or just making cards and things like that, or little tags? So fun. But I really like that sort of vintage, sort of nostalgic look. Look at the frames, and we are going to use some of those frames in this layout. So that's just a quick look at the papers. All the papers are available at the Sandpaper Road Shop, and I'll put links below where you can check that out if you're interested. So I'm using pages, 2 of the pages from the collection. This pinkish striped-ish one with the Santa and the kids. And here's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to cut off the bottom strip. This is going to be so easy that you won't even believe it. Nothing fancy. Okay, and then we're going to cut, and I do give you the measurements in English and in Polish because, like I said, this was for a Craft O'Clock creative project, which is out of Poland. So we're going to cut a 4 by 12 strip off of the left side there. Okay, and we will, yep, there's our 4 by 12 strip. And I hope I make these tutorials easy enough where even if you're a beginner, you can check that out and try to follow along. Now, this is the second page. This is the one with the deer and the kids around the Christmas tree, and it looks a little bit, it's got more of a green tan type tint to it. So we cut that bottom strip off, and we make sure that we're starting with a 12 by 12 piece. Now, on my scoreboard, what I'm going to do is score at 6 inches. I suppose you could just fold it in half, because even if you didn't have a scoreboard, it wouldn't be rocket science to just fold the paper in half. But I like using the scoreboard just because it's a nice, clean fold. This paper is really thick. It's a really nice, sturdy, almost like a cardstock feel to it. So I'm folding it over so that you can see the wood side. Now we turn this paper over, and you can see there's 2 sort of reddish wood looking pieces, or wood looking slats, like wood slats, or yeah, they look like pieces of wood. So we're going to put the paper trimmer there and just cut off that last one. Now that we're going to use to make the door. This is really easy to just fold right in half and then just cut right on the fold line. We're trying to give the illusion of a wooden door and not just a piece of folded wooden paper. And I love that the paper comes with that just little red tint just on part of it. Now, actually, if you are into mini albums, you've got to check out the cover papers, because the coordinating cover paper, like album cover, that coordinates with this set is just out of this world. So I'm just using some double-sided tape. I'm using the 1/2-inch score tape there. And I'm paying special attention. You see that extra little line on the reddish piece of wood? That extra little line, I'm putting the top one toward the top and the lower one on the bottom. Now here I've got some tiny, tiny magnets. And you don't have to do this, but I do this so that the little door and my layout will stay closed just a little bit easier. So I put one of the magnets on a piece of sticky side of washi tape. This is just how I put magnets on things. Then I take the other magnet, the one that will stick to that first magnet, you know, because how two kind of just sort of stick to each other. They cling to each other. And I just put it on the non-sticky side of the washi tape so that one is on the sticky side and the other one is clung to the magnet through the tape, but it's not really stuck to anything. It's just hanging out there. So now I've got some time to decide where I want my magnet. And I'm just going to use a mini glue dot. Of course, if you don't have mini glue dots, you could use a liquid adhesive, but you're just going to have to make sure that it's all the way fully dry, because that does have a chance to slide around a little bit when you use the wet glue. So I put the glue dot down on the washi tape there. I mean, on the magnet while it's on the washi tape. Now remember, the one is stuck there by the washi tape, and the other one is just clung to it through the washi tape, if that makes sense. Now that's how it's going to look, but we don't want to adhere the other magnet just yet, because we have some things I want to make sure I've got that page fully done before I start sticking magnets to the other side. Now, I am not going to score anything, but I'm just using my scoreboard as a 12 by 12 holder, so to speak. Okay. And what I do is I put them there so it holds them in place. And then with a pencil, I just draw where those pages meet up. See how small that line is? And remember, it's only like that because we cut off that extra piece of red wood-looking paper. So now I know where to put my glue. It's not much, just that little bit. And you could use double-sided tape if you wanted to. I just didn't feel like messing with it for that little bit of space. Now, see, if I would have put my magnet in first, it might not be exactly where I wanted it. So I wanted to make sure my page was completed first. That is great. That's just how I wanted it. Okay, now this is the piece that we cut off, remember, at the beginning? And we're going to cut just a 1 by 12 inch strip just right down the one side. It's very small. I want to leave as much of those kids intact, that little kid image, for now. I can decide later what I want to do with that. But for now, I'm just worried about having a little bit more of that color on the layout. Now, what I don't want this to look like is I don't want it to look like we just stuck two pieces together. Even though that is what we did, I would like to make it look a little bit nicer. So I'm trying to make that pink and burgundy stripe continue at least one other place so it makes it look like it's flowing So here I'm just adhering this strip right, I don't want to say it's right against that fold, but it's just right on that other side of that door fold line. So when you open it up, you see that pink color sort of continues. Now I feel like I can put the glue dot on the other magnet, stick it down, and now I've got my magnets exactly where they'll go. Now what I tend to do is keep the magnets covered by a piece of washi tape while I'm working. That's just a preference. And then I'll cover them up as I go. Now this is some of the junk journal set extras to cut set, and I cut out some of them already, like this little corner piece, and there's one of the decorative cards, and I just knew that that's where I wanted that. I thought about maybe I could put like another photo in there. And here's the strip from the back of the one page that we cut off. And I am just going to put that right over the seam in the middle there. Again, just trying to make this look, to make this look as just unified as possible. I'm just cutting out some of the extras. These look perfect to make it really look like a door. They're just pieces of paper. Isn't that amazing? That button there that I'm using as the door handle, they're just cutouts. I literally cut it out of paper from these junk journal extras. And sometimes I think new scrapbookers might be maybe, I don't know, not intimidated, but maybe just shy. Maybe they just shy away from things, that are maybe a little more like junk journal or art journal or something, if that's not what they do. But I personally love these extras. They're just so unique. So I'm just taking some time and cutting out. There was only one that was that big, one of those little extras that was that big. So I put that on the bottom, and then I found a smaller one that was similar and put it on the top. Now, here are some of the extras, like wreath cutouts. I think those are they're from some of the extras, or maybe the back of the paper, or some of the flowers. Yeah, these are definitely from the extras to cut sheet. That looks so good. It looks like a wreath hanging on the door. Yeah, that's definitely how we're going to make the door look. I'm just going to use I have these dimensional glue dots that I will use for the door knob, that little button paper. And then more double-sided tape for those extras there. It's really fun to just decorate once you get your main layout. And I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue to adhere down this wreath accent piece. I thought about using like a hot glue or like a foam tape or something, but I thought, well, now hold on, I'm going to have a lot going on here. So my first base layer I want to put relatively flat, because I know me and what I'm planning on doing with some flowers and stuff later on. So if I start with dimension, then I can't go anywhere else but add more dimension. But if I start with flat, then I can add more dimension to it later on. Now, some of you might be wondering, how do you do this door and all these flaps and stuff when you have a page protector? Well, it depends on the kind of a page protector you have. But you just slide the page protector off if you have like the Creative Memories kind, where also, mental note, if you have a Creative Memories album, you're probably going to want to make sure your pages are starting off to fit in that album. Those albums are sized just a little bit differently when you put your pages in. And 12 by 12s sometimes hang over those little plastic edges. Do you know what I'm talking about? If you have a Creative Memories album. Other top-loading albums, sometimes I can get away with doing an 11 3/4 by 11 3/4 page instead of a 12 by 12 page. Because some other top-loading albums, that 12 by 12, even though it technically fits 12 by 12, it's just a little bit too big. So check it. My point is to check it before you start decorating and embellishing, because it's really hard to trim a page after the fact. But yeah, you just slide it out of the page protector to open up the door. So we've got all this space that we're going to decorate, and so many decisions to make, and so many pictures to fit. So many pictures to fit. So you could just put pictures all across. I really wanted to use that pocket. I was thinking about making photo mats with more of the paper. There's just a lot of possibilities. But what I really wanted to do was keep that Santa intact. And I wanted to do that by taking my craft knife and I have a self-healing mat underneath there, not just directly on my table. And I just cut around, not the whole Santa, but kind of just that bottom left part of it. It can be a little tricky. It's not difficult. It's just a little tricky, and it takes a little bit of time. And as I'm doing that, I usually just turn the page over and see how my cuts are doing. If you're trying this for the first time, my advice is to don't cut any holes out. Like, even if you think you mess up, don't take any little tiny pieces completely out of the paper. Just leave it all right there, because then if you mess up, it just blends right in. See there, I can fit a picture right behind that. And I really want to be able to fit a bigger picture. Yeah, and I want, in my dream world, I want to be able to fit the bigger picture so that you see it when the door is closed. Because that's what I wanted, is to be able to make it look, well, that's the small picture there, but that's what I'm trying to go for, is I want to be able to see a picture and have it look like a completed layout even when that door is closed. And then if you have to take it out of that page protector, it's almost like a surprise. There's more pictures behind it. So yeah, that's really good. That's just what I was hoping to happen. And see, now I can work on things to cover up that magnet. I can use photo mats to do that. I can use embellishments. I love these decorative cards. Oh, I just want to use everything. I'm going to have to make a bunch of cards with this paper collection, just because I just love all the different things of this paper collection. I just love it. I don't know how they come up with these just rustic like ideas and stuff. It's really neat. So then I decided, I am going to change, I think, my initial idea and make it look more like a I don't know the word for it, but more, I guess, journal-y. You remember those like original scrapbooks from like back in the day with like the tan paper, and they just were like big giant books of thick tan craft paper. Oh, here I'm showing you a decorative card that has like a paper clip already on it. So I'm going to try to make it look like that paper clip is holding stuff together. But anyways, those big scrapbooks that we would use back in the day and just tape things inside, or use photo corners for like vintage pictures and things. That's kind of what I wanted to make this look like instead. Just sort of that feel of putting memories in a big space. And certainly if just watching me arrange paper is a little bit boring for you, certainly you can skip ahead. I find it relaxing to watch the process of other crafters, just how they put one thing and another thing. And sometimes you see ideas that they try as they just lay them down and didn't use them. And I just like to watch the process. So hopefully there's other crafters out there who feel like I do and just like to watch the process. It's very inspiring. Sometimes there's things that you learn even from a crafter's mistakes that you think, oh, I didn't even think to do that. And then maybe you can try it on a project of your own and it will work for you. So like, so here I cut out that paper clip, and when I tried it there, it looked so dumb to me with that piece cut out. I thought, oh, I'm not doing that. That looks silly. But this is what I meant about don't cut anything out completely. Like, I'm glad I didn't cut out that hole in the middle of the paper clip, because now I don't have to use the piece that I cut out, because you can't even tell I cut it out. So yeah, this is definitely just some arranging and eyeballing and seeing what I want. And really, the way to decide, there's really no way for me to tell you how to decide. But I think if there is anything I can say, it's decide what is most important in your layout to you. I mean, I'm talking about after the pictures. So when you're deciding on ephemera or extras or decorations or things like that, like what is the thing that no matter what you want to be there? And then just go from there. And there is no sense in laboring over, whether something is angled a certain way or a quarter inch to the left a certain way, or just, I mean, if you don't spend time laboring over those little things, those will work themselves out. I found those little frames from the junk journal set. Do you remember in the beginning I was like, oh, we're going to use these? Those little frames, I don't even have pictures in mind right now, but I thought that would be so cool to have those little frames there, and then to insert pictures in those little frames. Or journaling. Maybe you want to just include like big pictures, but then maybe you want to put like a date or a time or an address or something like that right there in the frames. Now, remember this piece that we used? Okay, well, here's another way to incorporate some of that color so we have a little bit of balance. Remember, we've got some of that pink to the left, and then we've got some of that in the center, and I think I want it one more place. So I'm going to actually use it as a little backdrop behind the frame instead of just sticking the frame right to the actual paper. So a little bit of that pink and then a little bit more of that brown. And if I put it in places where it isn't naturally, but it coordinates, it'll blend in, but it'll just provide just a little bit of interest. So here's that corner pocket and just a little wet glue. The design of the corner pocket is made to look like it was torn. So I'm just sort of working with that a little bit and making it look a little bit more natural. Here is a little fold open, and there's a little photo, well, a pretend photo. That actually looks really good. There's some tags that come on the back of the packaging when you buy the collection, which is great. I love that they do that. There's a decorative card that's back there. Now, I'm just using, there's more of those buttons that come with the embellishment set, the extras to cut set. See how the back of the packaging is on the back of that tag there? So I can't just have it like that. And only if I was sticking it down could I have it like that. But I don't want to stick it down, and I don't have to if I don't want to. So I'm just going to stick another tag to the back of it. No big deal. So I just put two tags together and put another little button there. And of course you could use a brad or an eyelet or something like that. And I have an acrylic block that I use for stamping, but I just lay it on top while the glue dries and then work on some other things. Just for a few minutes. It'll dry pretty quick. I'm cutting off the excess there. See that? See how the pink is behind it now? In a place where there is really not pink on the paper. I like that. And then I do the same thing with some of that tan, that brown tan. Yeah, that looks good. I'm happy with that. See there, I am fussing, just angling them and just in a. I don't like to do that too often because that distracts me from what I'm trying to do here. There. That'll be just fine. Yeah, I can't spend too much time just trying to arrange it just, eighth of an inch this way, quarter inch this way, eighth of an inch. Oh, I just sometimes think to myself, this is my self-talk. I'll say, Erin, just make a decision. And then I just stick it down. And I better stick it down quick or I'm going to keep arranging it and tipping it and turning it and whatever. And it's fine. It all looks fine. Yeah, and later I can decide if I want some little pictures to go in there. So I'm just trimming off. This is the tag that I just glued back to back, and it's dry enough right now. Just a few minutes, not very long. Now I've got a tag that is more of a decoration that I can pull out of that corner if I want. That looks good. It's like a messy good, like just nice. Now there's a few little words that come in the pack, Christmas and holidays. So I'm going to just put them just every here and there to sort of continue that sort of scrapbooky, that old-time scrapbooky feel. Like finding an old scrapbook like in a trunk somewhere, with old papers and old memories and things like that. I'm definitely going to put a third quote somewhere, a third word somewhere, because I don't like just even numbers of things. And I'm definitely going to have 3 pictures for the same reason. Because you can kind of see the way we have that fold out, it gives it the look that there's a left side, a left side, a middle, and a right side. So I found some black cardstock and just made some photo mats. I think that looks really good like that and provides some contrast. And everything that's on the right side there, I already stuck down off camera to try to help save time. So when I stick this photo mat down here, Now I have to be mindful. I mean, I'm still trying to cover up that magnet, and also I'm trying to be equidistant so it looks just cohesive there. So just kind of eyeball it, but be mindful that you're in the center of the other ones, and you've got just a relatively the same amount of space in between all the pictures you're using. They don't have to be the same size pictures, but just watch what you're doing on all four sides. Now here I'm going to start to try to cover up this magnet. I'm using a little, what I was pointing at there was the little Santa. I didn't want to overdo the Santas, you know? So there's my third word for the layout. And then I've got a little Santa right there. It's far enough away from the other one that it doesn't look weird, like we're the too many Santas. Now I can do whatever I want here with embellishments, but I'm going to have to make sure that if, like how here, I wanted to slide this photo in around the embellishments, and I can't put glue there. See? So you can glue down wherever you want to glue down, but just keep in mind if you want that to go like that, if you want to slide the picture under there, then you're going to have to not put glue there. Oops. And this glue that I'm using is probably my favorite. Well, one of my top. It's in my top 3, and it's that Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. It's so good. Really like it for embellishments and for. It's really good for card making too. But I like it for this kind of stuff because you just little tiny areas, and it dries really quick. Art glitter glue does the same thing, if you've heard of art glitter glue. But art glitter glue is a little bit, I like art glitter glue more for like mini albums and stuff. I don't really have reasons. I just do. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay, so again, same thing. If I'm going to have that embellishment to cover up that magnet, if I'm going to have it hanging over the photo mat, I just have to remember not to glue down the tag there. Now, here's what I'm trying to demonstrate. I'm just marking with a pencil where I want this to go. I've got to put like some pieces of cardboard, or if you have some foam tape or something. That magnet, it's really not very tall. I mean, it's, when I say tall, I'm not joking. It might be an eighth of an inch tall. But even just, too, just sometimes a little bit of something, when you try to glue down a whole big thing, it won't be level because you've got this little magnet under there. It's like having a rock in your sock or in your shoe, and it's just that one thing kind of sticking up. And so this cardboard it's just chipboard cardboard, just to give it a flat space to lay. And I'm just touching up some things with this glue while I wait for the cardboard to dry, that glue to dry there. Yeah, that's fine. Now it will lay flat. One piece of tape ought to do it, and I'm going to do it on the side there so that I can still slide the picture underneath. Maybe a little skitty piece there too. And that is perfect. And now I can slide a picture in later. I can open and close the door. It looks good with the door closed. Very nice. Put a little word there, the word journal on the front. That's great. That looks really good. Really to give the feel immediately that this is going to be more of a journal-y type page feel. Look at that, the paper clip, all the little journal elements poking out. And you really see there's more to come underneath there. Now is the fun part. Of course, it's all fun, but I'm pulling out a few of the flowers and leaves. There's so many cute elements I wanted to use. I wanted to use that snowman. I wanted to use a bow. There's bells. There's so many things to use. And I had to like just keep myself under control and not put them all on one project. That bell does look good there, though. That really does look good. So a lot of this at this point is just playing around. And for this part, I'm going to start to use a combination of the liquid adhesive that I was using before and also the hot glue gun. Some people don't like to use the hot glue gun on scrapbook pages, and I totally understand that. I didn't actually do that until probably just the last couple years. But I definitely would never do that if those were, like, if I was scrapbooking the only pictures that I had of something, I would not use hot glue anywhere in the layout. And some people don't like it because maybe depending on the kind you have or whatever, they have a tendency to not hold up over time. But this is more of just a crafty project sort of a page. And like I said, it was for design team project, which really is trying to showcase what the papers can do. And I just get addicted to the paper, I think. So there's pine cones and little leaves and things. It's so, so, so fun to play. If you love to play with paper, just leave yourself a few hours and enjoy. All right, so I want to show you something about these flowers. This is a metal stylus. If you don't have one, it's really no big deal at all. You could use the back of a pen or the pencil eraser, like on the back of a pencil. So here's my glue gun, just putting a few things down first. Okay. What is that, a little acorn? Okay, some of these pine cones. It looks a little funny right now with just those like pine cones and stuff sticking there, but we'll do something in a minute here. And the bell, definitely. That looks good. Okay, now you take the stylus and you just press gently on the paper while it's resting on a piece of foam. And that foam is just, oh man, I think it just came from packaging. Like when you buy embellishments or something, there's a piece of foam in there. Now you can glue those together with some hot glue and make a little dimensional flower. Like glue a small one into a medium-sized one. And you can put jewels inside or, Nuvo drops or stickles or little brads inside the flower when you're done creating the little dimension. It's really easy. That's the other thing about the glue gun is because it sticks just immediately. It dries so fast and adds dimension. So that's why I usually use it for this kind of stuff. But certainly you could use the wet glue just the same. You just have to hold it, like make sure it's fully dry. You just have to have a little bit more patience, I think. That looks so, so good. So here I'm just tucking a little after the fact. I take some of those leaves and with just a little, the smallest dot of the hot glue, then I can just kind of fit the leaves in underneath the edges. Yeah, these are beautiful flowers to cut. It does take a little bit of time to cut, but I do that a lot while I'm watching TV. Well, while my husband is watching TV. When he gets the remote, then I get the scissors. That's pretty much how that happens. Yeah, this is fun. I love to build these flowers up. I like it too because when you have this paper collection or any just good quality paper that has some good fussy cut elements and things, you don't need extra dies or things like that, which are good to have because then you can use any paper at any time. But this is really nice because you don't need all that extra stuff. Here's a few little what are they? I guess little sticky jewels that I had in my stash. Just for the middle of the flowers. And I've got a little bit of black ink. This is just regular old distress ink. It doesn't have to be distress ink, just regular old black ink. And a little like a sponge dauber tool. And I'm just going to ink around the edges. Now, this is probably for some of you, this is the equivalent of when Bob Ross would take, after the painting was finished, and paint like a big tree just right down the middle. For some of you, probably adding ink to a page after you're all done with it is that same risk value. But don't be afraid to use your ink around the outside edges, because look at that. First of all, it's not very much. And second of all, that is probably the thing that will fix the issue whenever you look at your layout and you know that in your mind that it's done, but you look at it and you go, it needs something. It needs something. What does it need? This is probably the thing that it needs in your mind. So just give it a try. I have a scrap piece of cardboard underneath, and I'm really just kind of pushing against the page. I'm not trying to, I've sped up the video, but I'm not really going that fast. You could practice on some scrap paper first just to get the look you want. Sometimes I let the ink kind of go a little crazy on some layouts, and sometimes I keep it more controlled. So this one I'm keeping the ink a little bit more controlled because there's already a lot of chaos going on in the journal feel of the inside of the page. But I really just think that gives it a nice outlined, like a nice, good finished look. Now I needed to do this on the door itself, otherwise it'll look like it doesn't belong. This one I'm going to get a little bit more lax on purpose because I want the edges of the door to have a little bit more ink. See that? See how the corner there has a little bit more black ink? But again, it looks natural. And don't be afraid to try it. Like I said, try it on scrap paper first. See if you like it. That is outstanding. I love it. I love everything about it. I'll put in some photos later because I'm not sure which ones I want to use right now. But I got the Santa there. This is just great. I'll show you some close-up photos at the end of the video here, which we're almost to the end. And thanks so much for spending some time with me and watching me make this layout. I really hope that you give it a try. And like I said, if you're interested in these, in this paper collection, head over to the Sandpaper Road Shop, and there will be links below where you can check out all of the parts of this Miracle Night paper collection. It is in stock and available in the USA at the Sandpaper Road Shop. So here's some close-ups. You can also head over to the blog if you're interested to get some more details on how to make, including the measurements. And thanks so much for watching. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.